Hi. I'm just going to put my phone on complete silent, like not even vibrate. And we're going to start. Hi, this is a deck profile for a deck I've been having a lot of fun with recently, and my friends at locals have not. Uh, so this is Abdel Adrian, Gorion's Ward to be specific, and the secondary background is Candlekeep Sage. Now, Abdul is a creature that says as soon as it enters. Let's move out of the way. So as soon as Abdul enters, I can exile as many cards as I want underneath him and create that many soldiers. And then when he leaves, these will come back. Simple. The problem with that is my Candlekeep Sage says if my commander enters the battlefield or leaves, I will draw a card. Now, if you can't already tell what this deck wants to do, welcome to Magic. What can I say? Basically, I want to keep blinking, which is exiling and then immediately returning this guy and other stuff. Make a load of soldiers do silly shenanigans. So the way I've done this deck profile is I've started the first half with all of the blink targets. I'm going to refer to it as blink. And all of the blink cards. To give you an idea, this is how much we have to go through for that. So let's make a start on the blink targets. So we have the card draw engine with Spirited Companion of when it enters, draw a card, and Helpful Hunter that does the same thing. Then we have a Mold Drifter that will draw 2 on its entering, and it even has an evoke cost, which is kind of nice. And it's also a flyer if you care about blocking. And then we have an Aether Channeler that can either create a bird, return another target per non-land permanent back to their hand, so it's also a bounce if I need to, and it's a card draw. Then we have Cloud Blazer that is draw 2 and gain 2 life. Not too bad. These are the card draw ones. These are the ones that draw cards. There are other card draw in the deck, but these are the ones that do it on ETB. These are the ones that will when you blink it. Next, we have the Searchers in the form of Spellseeker and Recruiter of the Guard. Spellseeker will search you for any instant or sorcery from your deck to your hand if it's mana value 2 or less. Recruiter of the Guard will get you any creature from your deck back to your hand as long as its toughness is 2 or less. You'll be surprised how many are actually under that umbrella. Next we have the Spell Returners. We have Archaeomancer and Salvager of Secrets have the exact same ability of return a target sorcerer and instant back to your hand. The reason you run 2 is because it's a very powerful effect in the deck and you want to see it as much as possible. And only one of them is searchable with Spellseeker. Actually no, they're both searchable. So yeah, you could search both of these if you really want to. Next we have, in my opinion, the best cards in the deck. We have the Peregrine Drake and the, sorry I forget its name, Palinchron. Basically they do the same thing of when they enter they will untap lands equal to its mana value. So this is a 5, so this untaps 5, this is a 7, it untaps 7. The reason that is because you pay the mana once, you immediately get your mana back, and then you go, okay, now I'm going to start blinking these and get like extra mana. Very, very powerful effects. If you see these enter the battlefield, normally I'm about to go insane with this deck. Because, warning, this deck goes insane. Your opponents are going to hate you. Feel free to play this deck if you want your opponents to say, get off of my table. Then we just have the miscellaneous like blink target. So we have Solemn Simulacrum, land, Tax Collector. Do you want to pay extra for your spells? Well, tough. Also I can detain creatures, not bad. Reflector Mage, bounce things, they can no longer cast them. Fencer is an all-star, just bounce anything to someone's hand. Urza, I will just get a bunch of construct tokens and then those constructs will tap for mana, which is kind of nice. Agent of Treachery, don't worry about it, I'm actually going to put the Solemn Simulacrum on top of that. You totally don't just steal your opponent's entire board if you play like that card. Then we have, in my opinion, 3 of the best cards in the deck, which is Felidar, Guardian, Restoration Angel, and Icewind Stalwart. When these enter, they can blink another thing. Icewind Stalwart has to be non-warrior, Restoration has to be non-angel, and Felidar has to be anything. The only issue is with Icewind, your commander, Abdel, is a warrior, so just be warned that you are potentially casting it to blink this, and you physically can't blink this. So that's that. Next we have one that's kind of in that trio, which is Flicker Wisp. I'll be honest, one of the best blink cards in the game. I don't play it that often because it's until end of turn, and yes, you can use that on your opponent's stuff, so arguably you could put it under Abdel to then start flickering your entire opponent's board on their upkeep or something, but now we've done all of these other flicker targets, so these are all the cards that you want to basically flicker whenever you can. Next we will have the things that do flickering. So for example, a Cloud Shift and an Ephemerate. Very obvious. Then we have a Planar Incision that does it and gives a +1/+1 counter for 2 mana, including a blue. These are 1 manas, this is 2. I've put it in mana value wise because obviously it gets worse and worse the more mana you pay for it. Flicker of Fate is a 2 mana with white. And Siren's Ruse is a 2 mana with blue, but if it happens to be a pirate, which I'm like 99% sure none of these were pirates. Let me double check. Because I'll be honest, I've never checked the creature types. I don't think it ever mattered. Yeah, the closest to pirate that's in this deck is Agent of Treachery, and that's a rogue. So yeah, you're not getting the card draw for that. Then Momentary Blink. This has flashback, so it's actually kind of nice. Then one of my least favourite blinks, but it still blinks, is the Fairy Time Twist. It's basically Flicker Wisp where it's till the end of turn, unfortunately. Then we go into 3 mana, where all the 3 mana ones are actually not too bad. Because you have Blur, which draws you a card. Then you have Ghostly Flicker that does 2 of them. And then you have Displace that also does 2 of them. And then you have Ghostway that does all of them. It's until the end of the next end step, but it's still everything. So if you have an entire board and your Abdul's died, you go, okay, I'm just going to flicker my entire board, and then on my end step it's all going to come back. And then on the same vein we have a Semester's End. Now all of these are instant speed. We will go into non-instant speed flickers in a second. These are all instant speed. So very good instant speed flickering. Then we go into the non-instant speed flickering with Brago. If it attacks, it can flicker as many permanents on the board as you want. Displace a Kitten. This technically is instant speed, but it requires you to play an instant speed thing. But it flickers if you cast a non-creature. On the same vein, so does Kaikar, but Kaikar also has the ability of creating a spirit if you cast a non-creature if for whatever reason you don't want to flicker that time. We have a Deadeye Navigator, which if you put this on anything that untaps lands, it's infinite mana. Because this pay 2 mana, flicker psych, and because it's soul bonded, it will just instantly soul bond back. So you just go, right, I'm going to flicker Peregrine Drake, it will instantly become a soul bonded card again, flicker it again, flicker it again for 2 mana each time, untapping 5 lands each time, so you're floating 3 mana every time. And then we have an actual sorcery, it's the only sorcery in the deck by the way. Another Round, it's a 3 mana flicker, but if you pay X, you could do it that many more times on top. And it's times, not and it's any number as well, and it's as many times as you want. So you flicker it, and then after that flicker's happened, it will resolve. Do it again. Do it again. Kinda nuts. Then we have a Eternal Wanderer to do it on I think it's on the uptick ability. And then the 0 ability will create as a warrior, and then also the -4 is just kind of stupid. So yeah, you want to play the Eternal Wanderer for that reason. And then we have 2 enchantments that do the same thing, which is Thassa, Deep Dwelling, and Far Traveller. Basically, you just flicker on the end step. This also has you can pay 2 mana to tap down the board. So if you do end up with infinite mana and somehow didn't win the game off of that, you can use it to tap down your entire opponent's board. So, you know. Next we go into the non-flicker stuff. So this is stuff that, yeah, so we'll go through it. So these are the next, I think it's 3, yeah, the next 3 cards are cards that You can flicker with Abdel and get something out of it. It just seems more pertinent to use it for its actual thing. So like Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, and Fort Vessel. You can flicker these and make mana with them. However, I would say having the Fort Vessel permanently out, depending on if you have a Reliquary Tower, you're probably better off having Fort Vessel out because how many cards you draw in the end, because obviously Candlekeep Sage as well. We will then go for win cons, which is Altar of the Brood and Lab Maniac. Then we also have, so basically, as I showed you earlier, we had Felidar Guardian, Angel, and Icewind. They are infinite ETBs because one targets the other, that flickers, and then it comes back, flickers the other one, that comes back, flickers this one, flicker. It's like infinite ETBs, so this is an infinite win condition for Altar of the Brood because you just mill your opponents out. And then Laboratory Maniac is another win con because there's a chance you're able to draw your entire library in this deck very easily, actually. So that is another win con that actually comes up fairly often. Then we have the Panharmonicon effects, which is Panharmonicon. So basically ETB doublers, and because obviously the entire deck is ETB triggers because you're blinking them, doubling them is pretty fucking strong. So we're going to go with Panharmonicon, Additional Mother of Machines, Virtue of Knowledge. These are our 3 ways of doing it. Mother of Machines is especially annoying because you can just go, oh well, with Mother of Machines, you don't get your ETBs, I do, and I get double. Go fuck yourself. And now we're just going to go into the generic good stuff of Preston. So because we're blinking, we're going to like make a bunch of like illusions, which we can then use to exile our opponent's stuff. But also it creates a copy illusion. So the thing that you're ETBing also gets doubled, hence why I put it so close to the Panharmonicon effects. We then have Skull Clamp for the soldiers we're creating, more card draw. Then we're playing white-blue, so Ristic Study, Smothering Tithe, obviously. Also, as I said, this deck makes you the enemy of the table, so we also run a Propaganda and Ghostly Prison to alleviate potential hatred at us, hopefully. Emphasis on hopefully, doesn't always work out that way. And then we have the 2 searchers in Enlightened Tutor and Mystic Tutor. This deck is expensive. If you want to build it more budget, you can, but this deck is expensive, man. So yeah, Enlightened Tutor, Mystic Tutor, very fun cards. Just basically search your library for an instant or sorcery, which you've just seen how powerful some of them are, and you're going to see some more in a minute. And obviously artifact or enchantment, there were some good artifacts and enchantments that you just saw. So searching is just that good. Next we have a Swords to Plowshares for removal. Then for another removal we just have Cyclonic Rift. We're just going to ignore that. You know, just a basic Cyclonic Rift. It's you know, it's just removal, guys. And then we go into the Counterspell care package because obviously we are in blue, so we have Counterspell, we have Arcane Denial, we have an Offer You Can't Refuse, we have a Mana Drain, don't worry about it. This deck is not toxic at all, don't worry about it. This deck is fine. Please don't hurt me. So yeah, that's all of the main deck non-lands. And then we will go into the lands. So I'll be honest, the land base in this is fairly simple. You have obviously your Command Tower and Reliquary Tower because how many you're drawing, and then you have your dual lands in the form of Hengegate. Yeah, Hengegate, Pathway, obviously the dual-sided, Nimbus Maze, Flood Farm Verge, Mystic Gate. Those are some good jewels. Then you have your Mystic Sanctuary to get your instants and sorceries back. Prairie Stream for a nice jewel. A Sea of Clouds. Hallowed Fountain. Glacial Fortress. Deserted Beach and Port Town and Temple of Enlightenment. Your basic like dual Azorius package lands with obviously your Command Tower and Reliquary that you need. And then you also have your basics. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 basic planes. Followed by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 basic islands. And that's it. This deck is insane. It's insanely fun to play. It's also insanely annoying to play against, as my opponents have said to me before. And yeah, it's a deck. So the story for me building this is I do enjoy Blink as a playstyle, but my partner wanted to build a Magic deck with me, and he started off wanting to play, I forget the name of it, but it's like a blue commander with background that basically you attack and then you have to sacrifice the thing because it couldn't be blocked. And I had a pigeon on it because he is pigeon mad, which is fine. It's not. It drives me up the wall a little sometimes, but it's fine. I love him. But because of that, he built that, and then I was like, right, if you're building creatures that can't be blocked, you should build it as a Blink deck. So you attack with a creature, it can't be blocked, get a nice attack trigger, and then just whoop whoop, it's still alive. You can do it again. I thought that was a nice idea, so we built I would say the main skeleton, if not the majority of this deck, was from that deck. And then I said to him, hey, I want to build this myself, but I do want to change a few cards, and like, because we were thinking of adding the expensive cards, but he wanted to keep to a budget. So I was like, I'm going to re-add the expensive cards, and I'm going to change it to a full-on Blink because it's a playstyle I like. And he said, that's fine. I went, okay, so that's what built this. It's why I class this deck as a deck me and my partner made, because even though I've changed the commander and added a couple of other cards, it's all cards we were either considering or cards that are already there. And then I think at most I might have added like maybe 5 different cards on top of that. But the main skeleton of the deck is what we built. So I'm quite proud of the deck, and it makes me feel good playing it knowing that we built it together. So it's kind of nice, very gay. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. As I said, if you play this against your opponents, either pre-warn them that this deck gets crazy, or just be prepared to have people hate you. I have won turn 4 with this deck before because I have just gone, right, play land, Soul Ring, and then I went into a Peregrine Drake and Abdel blink the Peregrine Drake, and then I just got infinite mana from there because I was able to like start a loop going, and it goes that quick. So as I said, play this to your own discretion. This is a very powerful deck. But that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. I will hopefully be able to do a new one soon. I'm actually going to. I've got another one. I've got them in the SpongeBob boxes. I've got this one I'm going to do. This is actually a update on a deck that I've already done. This is a so normally I put in the description, like I will with this one, the list of the the Moxfield list. One of my previous decks, I've changed it so much that I feel like it deserves a whole video just to say this is what it is now, because holy shit. That being said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Ta-ta.